interesting one. Show you what I've done with the camera conduit and stuff real quick. This is actually the first stairwell landing from outside access as far as going through the outer wall. There will be a board going on that bottom corner, and it will be anchored quite well. So, but anyway, what I was wanting to show you is, get this hair off, get it out of the way so I can sit you all down in a minute. And this is the kind of cable I'm using. Okay, it's got a coax with a power wire adhered or bonded to the side of it. And on the connections, outside coax BNC connectors, you have two different kinds of connectors. I'm going to show you the ones that most security cameras use besides Ethernet. Okay, and it's a kind of a different looking setup than you're used to. Let me switch camera angles. Anyway, okay, you want to play games? Fine. Anyway, they're you get the twist-on kind, you get the crimp-on kind. I'm using the crimp-on kind, okay? That's what it looks like. Kind of a funny setup. Works good. On inside connections, you can just use this. But if you're going to be outside with the connection, go with the gold-plated version, okay? A little more expensive. It's about 3 times the cost, but you don't get the corrosion. You get a better connection in the end. Now for this camera in here that I'm working on or getting ready to set up, it's going to be I'm just using the standard connector. Get all my tools together that I'm going to need up there. Now with this, and these are the same tools that your cable guy uses, is something like this to strip the cable. Then what he'll do is he'll put an end like this, but it's going to be for coax cable. For it's RG6 cable is what they use. We're using the RG59. And what they'll do is they'll choose, if theirs is like this, has 3 possible settings as well as this thumb screw style. Now what I do is I'll go ahead and preset it to where it needs to be by turning that thumb screw out. And then I lock it in with this lock nut that's also built in. Now what that allows me to do, and I've got a little too far in or too far out, it will allow you to have less play so you can make sure you get a good crimp on it. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this in a second. I got to get up there and set the camera up. We're going to be using for power, let me show you this, I got to get one out for that too. So, okay, I dropped that, that's fine, I'm going to switch it around. Okay, this is the kind of end that is going to be used for your power right there. I cut the end off the camera power wire, but I don't like doing that. This is already going to be bad enough. Now I could cheat and strip these wires back a little further, go ahead and tin them back a little bit further with some solder and soldering iron, and then on the ends of that are going to be up there, strip those out and put some solder on the ends and tin them, and then use these little push-in style connectors. I have some that only use 2 wires. See, here we go. And you just push your wires in there. And they work really nice. I like them, but I'm not going to be doing it this time. I'm going to make do with what I have. So I'm going to set y'all up here where you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to get started on this. It's not too hard to do. Now I should be soldering the wires after I've twisted them together, but I'm gonna have to do that later on because I gotta get this done. He wants this done fast. Now I'm gonna go ahead and cut this cable so it's got a good clean end on it. Okay, now I'll separate. Okay, now that I've separated, I'm going to go ahead and cut back a little bit because the wires are kind of pulled back in. Now I shouldn't be using these like this, but it works okay. Now that I've got the wires where I can reach them, I just pull back and it'll allow me to pull the outer insulation off. I'll just cut it off out of the way, get rid of it. Okay, I need to get me another pair of these nips. These are pretty well wore out, but that's what you can expect after about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years and God knows how many cuts and such. I've done quite a bit of wiring with this pair, and they'll usually last a year or two and then they wear out, which is what's happening here. Okay, there's my 2 wires. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, first wire stripped on that one. Okay, second wire, it's the black one. Okay, so all I'm going to do, I'm just going to do it the quick way. There's many ways you can do it. I can do it like this and twist them so that the ends wrap around and go up the other one. For what I'm doing, ooh, nice big old spider. Ooh, good size one too. And I don't know what he is, but he's not going to be around here. I don't know what kind of spider that was, but I'm not a fan of spiders. I won't just up and kill them, but when it looks like a brown recluse like that one does, yeah, I'm getting rid of it. I'm not anxious to be bit by a brown recluse, and I don't think anybody else in my building is. Okay. Now all I'm going to do, dang it. Okay, there we go. That's insulated.
And you can't know because you want to be trying to show tough love and stuff. You can't off right now, and I don't got no babysitter. After all this, I mean, I will have one, but shit, I'm trying to use my time that I already was supposed to use. You! Why you laughing? You cutting off, and you got the rental car and everything. You cutting off, knowing that I could be getting some money. Like I what? No, I said you taking the car that you got for me. You didn't need no rental car. You wasn't tripping off no rental car. I was. I was the one tripping off the rental car. I don't want to ask for it.
Okay, that's done. Now, to make this stripper work, it's got a little thing that you slide down, slide up. I keep it up so I know exactly how much I'm doing. Push the plunger in. And there's a piece of wire in there, a piece of insulation. Shit.
Look, you got a big mess to clean up.
Yep.
So it's gonna be one in every corner, huh?
One on every landing, even down here.
That's what's up. Open the door because this shit keeps failing. They coming. ain't lying. That nigga seems like he's lights out.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hi. Oh, hello, I'm Natasha.
Okay.
I didn't know that was y'all. I was sitting right here when you guys walked by.
Oh, Dory one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now push the wire in. What I'll do is I'll pull it out and see if it's stretching the insulation here, which means the inside is sliding where it's supposed to. It means everything's good. Okay, now I've got this set up on the spot with the 2 dots. Everything's preset like I showed you. Slide that side in first, then this side, and now that I make sure I've got everything lined up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Okay, now you see that black gap has closed. I'll show it to you from a different uncrimped one. Grab one. Starts out with a gap like that and ends with, let me see if I can't get it. Turn the angle of the camera around so you can get closer. That's the difference. And that means that it has been properly crimped and now it's ready to be connected. Now that that is done, I can take all this stuff, push it back up in here, and put my board back in place. And that is how that goes together. Okay, so that's that. Noise alert. Okay, now what I'm going to do is take one more and go in at a bit of an angle at the towards the back. Kind of boogered it up right there, but oh well. Okay, so that's closed up. Now I'll come back and take this protective cover off. And sorry about that. There we go. Looks good. Can't get much better than that. I'm happy with how it came out. Okay, so that job is done as far as that camera goes, other than getting the cable ran the other way the rest of the way and into where it's got to go. So I'm going to put my tools back in the toolbox and clear off this landing so it can be cleaned again. Like I said, I didn't get to show you the hole that came through when I pushed the pipe through because it kind of butchered up the wall there, which is one of the reasons why I put that angled piece there. But I also put the angled piece there so that the camera could be set up to where it could catch the best views. And we could have went with all the pan, tilt, zoom cameras and never even had to go open them up other than the initial setup and just set it up the way we want it. A little harder to do, but it's easier in a way because they're more, the reason why it's harder is they're much more expensive. These were like $35, $37, something like that each. Pan, tilt, zoom, the ones we got for one area where we needed it really, those were, how much were they? About $80 a piece. So yeah, about twice as much. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording here. But what the heck? Now, this is one of the reasons why we're doing this. This is where somebody was stabbing the wall with a Phillips screwdriver. And that's just an example of why we're having to do this. Now we'll know who's doing this stuff. And realistically, that one there probably should have been put in that corner there. But it'll still be good enough. Okay, well, I'm going to end this video. Catch you later.